Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I will be continuing with what if the Z Fighters trained with Goku. Now, in the last part we covered the reasons why the Z Fighters would train with Goku, and how the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai would go, with Goku still coming out on top and Piccolo coming second. After the tournament finishes, the Z Fighters, instead of sealing Piccolo away, decides to let him live a life out in the wilderness as long as he doesn't cause any issues to anyone. Now, we'll continue back with the story. After the tournament, everyone sat around talking to each other about what they're going to be doing with their lives from now on. Goku and Chi-Chi are going off to get married. Tien and Chaozu are saying how they're going to go off in the mountains and train. Master Roshi is being all perverted. But two very important members are missing from this conversation, and it's Krillin and Yamcha. They're a little bit away from the group, just sort of exchanging looks with each other and talking small talk, I suppose. They're both really upset that they lost to Piccolo Jr. It annoys them after 3 years of training. They still couldn't beat the big bad, and Goku had to come in and save them. It's more annoying to Krillin though. He had died to one of Piccolo's sons. Well, not our Piccolo, Piccolo Jr.'s dad, Demon King Piccolo. So they decide they want to train with each other. Just a little bit, but just be strong enough to fight Piccolo in case anything goes wrong, and so they don't need to fall back on Goku. Their first plan is to go up and ask Kami to train them, which, when arriving, Kami sadly says that he can't teach them anything. They're stronger than him at this point, so it would be unbeneficial for them to train with him. So they think about going to train with Master Roshi, but they decide to give that a skip. They want to keep this training quite hush-hush, if that makes sense. They want it just to be them, because they're the ones who have got the vendetta against Piccolo. Now, so they decide that just going off in the wilderness is the only way they can train. So they find a spot and they decide on their routine. Their routine will be, they will train, meditate, and they will also get some training out of hunting for their food for each day. I believe they would do this for about 2 years. Just about, 2 years makes sense. And I'm going to give them a 2 times multiplier. Now, I give them this because they would be really desiring to win. They would have a lot of fire under their belly and a lot riding on this, I suppose. And that would put their power levels above Goku, with Krillin being 700, the strongest person on Earth at the minute, and Yamcha being 674, the second strongest. Now, after these 2 years, they think, right, this is a good point to stop. This is where we're cutting off the training, and we're going to go find Piccolo. But before they do that, they think, alright, let's grab some senzu beans, just in case one of us is to take a serious injury. Not really having an idea of how strong Piccolo's gauged. Power's grown. So they grab the senzus and they head back off into the world trying to find Piccolo. They take a minute to try and sense him out before leaving, and they have a rough idea of where he is. So they fly off that way, and upon arriving, they can already tell Piccolo's much stronger. He's about 562 right now. I didn't give him as big as multiplier as Krillin and Yamcha, because he would be training by himself. But I gave him a big boost in a sense, because he would be annoyed he almost lost to Krillin and had to give a good go against Yamcha. So he's actually stronger than in canon. Now, when they arrive, Piccolo wouldn't already know they're there. Sensing them arriving, he would turn around and give them a massive, devilish grin. He's ready to fight them. He can sense their power. And like last time, they're just a bit weaker than him. So he thinks. Krillin and Yamcha are actually kind of suppressing their energy at the minute. So it makes them a bit level with Piccolo. Putting them both around 560 would be a good place to put them. Now, they want it to be a fair fight, so they decide, alright, we'll Do it the best way we know how, the most Dragon Ball way we know how, the greatest way we know how, to decide which one of them will fight. They have a really hardcore game of rock, paper, scissors. Now, after the match of rock, paper, scissors, Yamcha comes out on top, beating Krillin. So Krillin, respectively, flies away to get ready to view the match from a distance. Now, Yamcha and Piccolo both take fighting stances, both ready to give it their all, and with the gush of a wind, they both fly towards each other, going all out. Yamcha and Piccolo landing some good blows on each other, none doing enough damage to hurt the other, but they're still stinging. And after about, I'd say 5 minutes, Yamcha can tell Piccolo hasn't got any hidden power. This is like his max at the minute. And knowing he can beat him, Yamcha takes a step back and maxes out his power, going all the way up to his full power, and flies straight towards Piccolo. Piccolo trying to hit him, but Yamcha being behind him already, and so they're flying straight into a mountain. And before Piccolo can recover, Yamcha's already on him, and finishes him with a wolf fang fist, knocking Piccolo clean out. Now, Krillin's a little annoyed by this, but he can't really do anything. Knowing he's stronger than Yamcha, he can sort of live with the fact that he could have beat Piccolo as well. Now, just before they fly off, Piccolo is left there unconscious, and they feel bad. They said they wouldn't challenge him unless, of course, the only time they would is if he did something wrong. So they leave a senzu bean there for him, thinking it's the right thing to do, I think. And Goku's obviously rubbed off on them over the years. About an hour or two later, Piccolo wakes up and sees the senzu bean. Knowing what it is, he's annoyed. They left him a senzu bean. In his mind, this is a taunt to him. When it was just an act of kindness, he's infuriated. How dare the Earthlings leave this for the rightful ruler of this earth, the demon son? How dare they? So he's ready to train harder than he's ever trained in his life. He now doesn't just want to kill Goku. He has 3 people he wants to take out. And that's Yamcha and Krillin, as well as Goku. Now, for the next 3 years, I would say Krillin and Yamcha didn't really train. They'd sort of settled what they wanted to settle. But they do train lightly, so they gain a little bit, but don't lose any power. I'd say like maybe only a small bit. I can't really put a number on it. And it's rounded. Everything will be the same up until when Raditz arrives. Now everyone is at Kami House, as well as Yamcha this time, because, you know, Yamcha being gone for 2 years means him and Bulma never would have, their relationship would have died much sooner, meaning, you know, there would be no fallout and issues between them. Also, Yamcha wouldn't be a baseballer, so he would have no distractions and would love to go and meet the gang again. And he was sort of a main gang member before Krillin, so why he wasn't there originally doesn't make sense. Once Raditz arrives, he turns on his scouter just to try and see if he can figure out where Goku is. In the distance, he can see 3 high power levels, with the highest being 700, which is Krillin. In the east, he can see 2 relatively high power levels, which is Tien and Chaozu. And not too far from him is the weakest out of the set. Not that weak. It's quite big. He can see that Piccolo is off in the mountains. Obviously not knowing it's Piccolo, but, you know. So he does what anyone would do, head to the highest power levels nearby. Just makes sense, doesn't it? And upon arriving, he can actually see, out of all the people at this meetup, Goku's the weakest out of the 3 fighters. This is really surprising to him. These Earthlings are stronger than his Saiyan brother. It's incredible. But you also notice little Gohan. Now, Gohan is still here in this. However, he's a little bit stronger, being as though Goku was stronger. I made him about 330, 340. not 340, 34 even, sorry. I'm thinking about high numbers. Gohan's like that, got more latent potential. Now, Raditz tells Goku, you are a Saiyan, you were sent here years ago, and I'm here to bring you back to join the Frieza Force. They're a group of people who, you know, just take planets, destroy them, all of that. And Goku says no, just saying that he isn't like that. He doesn't want to hurt people. He loves the thrill of a fight, but that isn't for him. Now, Raditz actually can't go aggressive right now, because the three people there, if they were to work together, could beat Raditz easy. So he has to play a bit more smart, and he has to sort of tuck his tail between his legs. He doesn't run away, no, that would be too simple. He lands on the beach and brings up, brother, well, at least let me get to know you and your friends. They're all very strong. And this is his plan. His plan is to wait until everyone lowers their guard and take out either Krillin or Yamcha, just so it's him versus another person. He thinks he has a high chance of surviving a 2v1 than a 3v1, which is fair enough. So everyone heads inside the house, with it being really awkward at the start, with no one really knowing what to say, until Goku starts talking to Raditz, like asking, what do Saiyans, why am I so important for you to come and find all of a sudden? Raditz says, I remember I told Father I would come and find you one day. I had the coordinates, and until recently I sort of forgot to do it. Bulma then pipes up asking, how did you get here if you're from space? And Raditz starts talking about all of Frieza's tech, all the amazing wonders they've invented, making Bulma very interested in seeing his, spaceship. After a while, everyone starts talking again, and eventually they start eating. Now, at this point, Raditz sees it as a good point to attack, but he hasn't actually eaten a meal this good in a while, and he slowly starts to eat and really loves Earth food. And slowly he's realising he's actually letting his guard down a lot more than the others are. Seeing his brother for the first time ever, it's incredible. The resemblance between him and his father, but he's not hard like his father. He's kind and gentle like his mother, but is still powerful, which it just overloads Raditz a lot. And meeting his nephew, it's just a lot of emotions. Everyone's been really kind to Raditz, where he's used to being picked on, being called weak by the likes of Vegeta and Nappa. And eventually it's a really nice thing to witness, Raditz is actually having a nice time for a change. After a while, the party ends, and Raditz realises he actually sort of enjoyed himself, but he can't really stay on Earth. He says to Goku that he has to go do something, but we'll come and meet him again the next day, wherever he lives. Goku accepts, and Goku shows him where he lives. Now, I am just going to explain quickly why I just ended it abruptly. I was going to do it a bit longer, however, I know how I want to write it. I have it all written out, actually. I just don't think I can edit it how I want to yet. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time trying to get it right. Then I'll upload it, obviously. But as I said last time, I have someone has done this idea before, and I am sorry about that. Go and check out Dex Comics. And if you watch this, thanks, I guess, for taking time out of your day to do it. And you're obviously lost because you're here. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you another time.